Welcome to the Hillsborough Historian. My name is Rex, and what is that terrier serving up on his history on a platter today? Our topic is the Thanksgiving football game, the oldest rivalry in the city of Tampa, featuring the Hillsborough Terriers and the Plant Panthers. The Thanksgiving football game was an epic Tampa tradition featuring the mighty Terriers of Hillsborough High in battle with the sturdy sons of Plant High across several fields of play throughout many decades. The origins of the mythic Thanksgiving football game actually start in the 1910s with the ancient rival of the Terriers known as the Duval Tigers of Jacksonville. These games were hard fought, but Duval ceased to exist in the late 1920s, even as a new rival was being born. Plant High opened, and the Panthers and Terriers were destined to be locked in combat every Thanksgiving for decades. These early games were played on Plant Field, which was located on the grounds of the Tampa Bay Hotel. The first HHS Plant Turkey Day game took place in 1928. Thousands of spectators were dressed in their finest over the decades, and they often wore corsages that were either red or yellow. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, the University of Tampa acquired a new venue, Phillips Field, located on the banks of the Hillsborough River. It was here that the Turkey Day tradition would continue. The tradition continued through the war years of the 1940s, and the halftime shows grew more and more spectacular. Cars were dressed up and driven to the game, which technically alternated between a home game and an away game between both schools. Here we can see a giant megaphone being used to scream Terrier pride across the field of play. The epic tradition continued into the 1950s with crowds numbering well over 10,000. The heated contest continued into the 1960s as the city would turn out to watch the epic game between the ancient rivals. The final game at Phillips Field was played in November 1966, and in a sense it was a foreshadowing of the end of a tradition. Games would now be played in the new Tampa Stadium, located on Dale Mabry. As the 1970s began, the tradition continued. In November 1974, the final Thanksgiving football game took place at Dad's Field at Plant High. In 1975, it was decided that the Thanksgiving tradition interfered with the playoff schedule. The end of the tradition seemed to have upset the football gods. In the first meeting between the two teams after the tradition ended, the power went out at Hillsborough High School's football field, and the game was played out over 2 days. While the tradition is over, it is still a special game when the two schools meet. It has been said there are no winners or losers in a well-played game. But just for the record, the Terriers did win the most Thanksgiving football games. Well, as the turkey said on Thanksgiving, I'm out of here. Please hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all my videos. Take care of each other. And as always, go Big Red.